What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you tune into the channel. Check out the content. And with that being said, man, I want to talk about this situation with Cam Newton and him getting canceled from BET because of what people think of his comments when he said that he can't he can't have a platonic relationship with a female, an attractive female. And so some people are saying that those statements right there got Cam Newton canceled from BET right now. And maybe BET felt the need to cancel him because they saw him as a risk. You know, it's if you're working in a corporate environment or any work environment where there are men and women, and you tell people that you only see women as a you only see women in one light as they're only good for sex, then that's not a good, you can't have a platonic relationship with women, then that could be a potential lawsuit. That could be and especially if women know that, and if she don't have good intentions, she can use that, and people are going to believe him. So maybe BET said, well, look, man, we not he might have discipline and may not be able to but somebody that could be called into question. And so I just think that, like, with these social medias, people think that it's okay to say everything. They want to go, they basically just tell on themselves and they set themselves up, and that's, in my opinion, that's what got Cam Newton canceled. That's part of the issue. Then the fact that, I think, I don't care if you're a man or a woman, and if you only see people for certain purposes, then you, especially sexual purposes, then you lose, like, you cheat yourself because people bring other things to the table. And it just shows Cam Newton's, in my opinion, like, his lack of maturity and his lack of self-control, no wisdom, like, so if that's all women are good for, then in your eyes, then just that's a lack of wisdom, in my opinion. So I think BET probably said, well, this guy is a potential, he's a potential risk. We may get sued, or he might put himself in a compromising situation, or somebody may accuse him of something. So maybe we should cut that cord right now, and so that's what I think, could be the situation with Cam Newton and BET. I'm going to play what Jason Whitlock and his panel had to say about it. Then I'm gonna come back and give some more of my reaction.
Cam Newton had his 106 in Sports show on BET canceled. Somebody finally went too far as it relates to, or Cam Newton finally went too far for BET. I mean, when you go too far and BET's like, hey, man, we're canceling your show. Most people are speculating that the show got canceled because of this conversation that Cam had. We're about to play you. Let's play SOT 2.
You have any platonic relationships in your life right now?
With the woman?
Yeah.
No.
Is that by choice?
I'm not about to be around no woman platonically. Listen.
We got to unpack this, Cam. Why?
Because I'm not about to play them type of games.
Is it self-control?
Call it what you want.
I'm asking.
Call it, it may be self-control.
I'm asking.
If she fine, I'm not about to have her around playing like I don't think that she's attractive.
Is it possible to think someone's attractive and still behave yourself?
Yes.
Do you have control of them thoughts?
Yes. But I'm not about to play them games.
What game is it?
The game of saying, hey, we're not about to be friends. I don't have good-looking women that's friends around me.
So
no.
Just all the do you have any ugly ones?
So, and that right there could be, like I said, that could be a form of discrimination, right? Because if you have women if you have women around you, and some businesses have gotten sued because of, like certain, like a restaurant, if you hire women with only large breasts, and then like another woman with who may not be as well endowed as other women, they may come in and just notice that, right? Wait a minute, all these women in here have they're well endowed. And I put in an application and I didn't get the job. So now, bam, that's a lawsuit. So Cam Newton, not really realizing what he, like he set himself up for potential lawsuits, not just for BET, but if he have his own show, if somebody, says that they want to work with him and he says, that can really be a situation that somebody can exploit and it can get real messy. So I think that's part of the reason why BET didn't want anything to do with Cam Newton. When you put that out there, businesses, have hired women because of their attributes and stuff like that and got called out. And so here he is announcing that, that he can't work with you if you're too attractive, because he's going to want to sleep with you and stuff like that. So, yeah, I just don't think Cam Newton is a wise, I just don't think that was very bright of him.
I got to ask.
I don't even have women friends, bro, respectfully.
Why?
I don't.
And I understand you saying you're not finna play this game, but Cam, you're a smart man. I'm gonna need you to go deeper than that.
Yeah, we're gonna.
It's a.
I know me.
There's you, okay?
I know me.
And what that mean?
That means if I'm around a woman long enough, I'm going to find something good in her that attracts me.
Okay, and when you're attractive, what then happens? When you're attractive, what then happens?
Sex.
See, see right there. So when you make
Cam,
that
it's a bigger issue than I thought we had.
So
when you make that statement,
that
if you're around a woman long enough that you're going to you're going to find something attractive about it, you're going to have sex. That is a situation where, people will be like, nah, he is a liability and we can't have him working here because he's a liability. And you put it out there. So women who don't have good intentions, they're going to take advantage of that. It's like giving your opponents your playbook. This guy's a football player and should know better than that. Like, you don't give your playbook to your opponents. And social media just encourage people to, just to share too much of what's really going on inside their heads. And Cam Newton, put himself in a situation where as though he's getting fired or he's got canceled.
I know what's to come from a platonic situation. I don't even play. No, I don't do that. Baby, you too fine for me. We're not doing that.
Interesting.
No.
So, okay. If I take the word friendship off of the table, do you have platonic relationships in your life that involve women?
I just told you, I don't have no attractive woman that I'm cool with that I do not have plans on stabbing.
And so then on top of that, that could be another issue. Like, if a woman don't feel like, that can make some women feel like they are, if they working with him, that can make them feel like they not attractive because if he not trying nothing with them, that could work. That could just cut him two different ways, man. If he's not trying nothing with the women, that he'd be like, oh, okay. And so they could go after him because he's lowering their self-esteem. So this guy Cam, man, he don't have any, like I said, any wisdom at all.
Woo.
Woo.
I don't know. Shamika, I'm gonna let ladies go first here. I like the use of the word platonic. That's actually
yeah. I want to hear the from a female's perspective too. Like, how do they feel about a man saying this?
clever. I don't like the use of the word stabbing. That's an idiot. Your reaction to Cam Newton?
First, Jason, I want to say I just realized that his end tables were upside down wine glasses. So nice. What he had to say was stupid, though. He just told every major network or anyone that would back his show that he doesn't have the discipline to work with women who may be attractive. That was the dumbest thing that he could do, in my opinion, for his brand. That was the silliest thing he could say for any woman that he would ever be in a relationship with. If you see me around another woman and she's attractive, I plan on stabbing her. That's just really silly. I'm not really offended by the word stabbing because there was MC Brains back in my day who they had a rap and they talked about stabbing the wound. That doesn't really affect me at all. But I just thought it was silly to say that you don't have the discipline really to work around attractive women. I'm the only woman really on this team, and we are around each other all the time. Whether there's any type of attraction, I don't know, but we have a platonic relationship. I have a really close friend. We've been friends since I was 13 years old. Nothing has ever happened between us. So I just think it's silly. I know that this is a conversation that men have all the time, but I hate the idea that men and women can't be friends without it going a different way. I just think that's silly.
So I agree with her. And I think that her opinion, I'm glad Jason Whitlock allowed her to go first, because she really just, in my opinion, just summed it up. And just what I thought, like you telling these major networks and platforms that you can't work with women, they're probably like, all right, thanks a lot, because we don't want to have to pay no big settlement for a woman because you are trying to, get with her and all this other nonsense. He just silly, I think she just summed it up, but I'm still going to play what Jason Whitlock and the rest of the panel have to say, but she basically just summed it up.
I think this is the first time I've ever thought like, man, that's a naive take by Shamika. But that is where I'm landing the plane a little bit. I'm gonna have to marinate a little bit more. But Dre, I'm gonna save you for last because I have no idea what you might say or what your reaction is. Let me let Scap and Steve get in here. Scap, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's a terrible take by Cam, and I'm shocked that he said it on TV and went on record and into such detail. But I'm going to say this right now. That was highly entertaining for my purposes. I want more. Why did they cancel this show? I didn't even know BET still existed. If he were still on, I might go out, find some provider where I can get BET so I can watch more of Cam Newton. I want to see more of this idiocy. I mean, that was good. I was dying during that entire thing. I can't believe he was canceled for that. I mean, seriously, can we start a petition right here on Fearless? Can we please ask your watchers right now to sign some kind of a whatever online petition to bring back Cam Newton, #save Cam Newton. That's where I want to start it right now.
Yeah, but he's too much of a liability. If he can't work around attractive women without trying his hand, then he's too much of a liability.
Steve?
I'm kind of with Scap, and I have not watched BET since the last prime of Donnie Simpson and Video Vibrations. Look, doesn't he have like 9 kids with 8 women? I mean, the guy's been stabbing more than OJ for years. He's not, at least he's not being a hypocrite. The guy's being honest. You got to know who you are. And I think that was entertaining. I think that was funny. And by the way, to BET's point, what did you think you were getting? I mean, don't we always talk about we want honesty, we want authenticity? Well, he's telling you who he is, Jason. Look, I know the thing about Cam, my guy. You almost got me like getting beat up by a Heisman Trophy winner last year, Jason. My God, what a milestone in my life, right? But you know what? I kind of liked it. And be who you are, because if he was talking about chastity, we'd all be saying, what a GD hypocrite. I respect that honesty.
All right, Dre, what your thoughts?
There was a rapper named Shine who was signed with P. Diddy and Bad Boy years ago. He went to jail for many years, came out, put out a song that was terrible. And it was your friend, Jason, Charlamagne the God, who said something very important. He said, record, but don't release. And what happened here with Cam Newton is, first of all, his co-host did not do him any favors because his co-host kept asking him more and more leading questions. And what Cam did right there harkens to what Coach JB said on your show, I believe last week. When it becomes content over everything, eventually you get conversations like this, where you're going to say things that you get a Pyrrhic victory. Because what Cam said there, a lot of young Black men who like Cam probably loved what he said, because they're...
And see, I don't like him saying that, like young Black men like it's just because he's sitting there talking to another black man who's questioning his lack of self-control, but you didn't point that out, and so you saying like young black men, you could get out of here with that nonsense.
Thinking the same thing, and they wish they could be in a position where they could say something like that out loud. The problem is Cam is in corporate America now. He's dealing with corporate dollars.
And all right, that's what I'm saying. So anybody who's going to be working with people anywhere, I don't care if you're in corporate America or if you own your own business. Like if Cam, even if he has his own show, his own podcast, and he put that kind of information out there, he's not doing anything but setting himself up, right? If he don't hire a woman because she's too attractive, she got a lawsuit. If she's attractive and she's around him, then she knows it's a good chance that she's going to be able to gain his favor, and they can manipulate. So it don't matter to me. It's funny when people say young black men want to say this, and young black men or think this way. It don't have anything. I think it was just a dumb decision, a stupid conversation for him to take part in, because you have two black men having this conversation, and one black man could not, he couldn't wrap his head around, like, why can't you have platonic friends? Why, if you working with a woman, like, why do you feel like you need to sleep with her? And so you have two black men having a conversation, and one black man just, he couldn't believe what Cam Newton was saying. So it didn't have anything to do with Cam Newton being black.
As Shamika said, what he said is going to hurt where he's going, but it will make him popular with where he's been. So this is a bad idea by Cam on a professional level, but on a quote unquote street level, content level, this won him a lot of fans.
No, it didn't. It didn't. That's a goofy take. And I'm gonna tell you why it don't put you in a good light, even on the street, because you are more likely to be incarcerated or like if you act inappropriate towards a woman on a street level than somebody who is in corporate. Like, they settle things out of court. But if you don't have no money and you operating on a street level and then you get caught up in a situation, then you're going to prison. It's not like if you don't have the opportunity like Shannon Sharpe to settle out of court. When a woman make these kind of allegations against you, and you don't have no money, it's not civil, it's legal. Now you're going to prison. So, and if you don't have no money, people, no matter where you are, you want to operate and move with intelligence. So you can't say, you're getting points on the street, and that's goofy. So that's my take on that.
But I don't know if that is going to matter for him moving forward.
Yeah, Cam just said that, hey, I have no discipline and I have no control of my lust. He's really telling on himself. And I don't blame BET, even if because I don't think he said this on their airwaves, but I don't blame them for doing this, because what Cam has basically said is, like, if you see me working with any female employee, coworker, whatever, she can accuse me of sexual harassment, and I'm on tape basically saying, look, I have no control of myself, and so I would sexually harass her. Where I do agree with Cam, I think there is some truth to what he's saying, and realization. It's like, you have to be very intentional, because there's been, Shamika's been working with me from the outset here. Tiffany joined shortly afterwards. And I had very intentional conversations about, like, hey, look, this is the way I'm going to behave. It's more about me than you. And I'm telling you this up front so that you'll understand why I may appear cold and distant and not warm and fuzzy. And it's about protecting myself and making sure that, I'm above reproach in that regard. So let me just put it out into the air. You're attractive. I'm going to be distant and a bit aloof because, If I'm not, I could make mistakes. And so
And now I agree with that. So if you are if you working in a business environment and you do have women around you, as a man, you do have to be careful, and you have to be, I think that's good advice. You got to be kind of aloof. You can't really, you got to be very conscious of like the way you interact with the female co-workers, female employees and stuff like that. So that right there, in my opinion, is just good advice. Even if you're a business owner, or if you're working for somebody in a corporate situation, right? Because if you're a business owner and they can accuse you of something inappropriate, you can get sued, and or if you're a corporation, you're working for somebody, then they can be sued and they could be held liable. So you got to be, like Jason Whitlock said, you got to be intentional about how you move in that environment, because you don't want to put yourself in a compromising position. Cam Newton just came out and admitted that he don't have any control. He can't work with attractive women because he's going to be trying to hit. And so the network said, yeah, well, we don't want you at our network because now you are a liability, basically. And so he just talked himself out of some money. He just left some money on the table, in my opinion. So that's my take on it. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Also, don't forget to leave a comment, and I'll check you all out in the next video. Peace.